Assistant Principals Week is 1 week out of the year that we usually highlight its annual celebration, recognizing the vital contributions of assistant principals in our education system. And joining us right now, us giving him his flowers for his work at the local school, West Bloomfield Middle School Assistant Principal, Mr. Evans, Jermaine Evans, I should say. How you doing, sir? Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, thank you so much for your hard work as assistant principal at West Bloomfield Middle School, Mr. Evans. Like we say, assistant principals play a crucial role in supporting the principal in this overall management and administration of an educational institute. Can you just give a little bit more information on your main responsibilities in assisting the duties of the principal in the school?
Absolutely. So when you think about the essential duties of the assistant principal, it really is to assist in guidance. It is to assist in development of your highly
Mm-hmm.
qualified teachers. It is to assist in the organization of the day-to-day operations. It is the supervision of your critical and your non-critical staff when it comes to instructional and even building maintenance. Um, we lead efforts to promote a positive culture here in the school. We assist in providing leadership to those that directly impact student achievement, which will be your instructional leaders in the classroom.
Exactly, exactly. See, I like to take this moment to highlight people in your position, assistant principals across the community, because specifically, I always look at it as we don't just have a president that just oversees the entire country,
Absolutely.
over 300 plus million. He has a team of people. He or she has a team of people who actually help make the decisions and create a system and make sure it works and work out the kinks. And that's what I see your role as. Just like an assistant coach, like you need
Absolutely.
people in the team to make everything work and make sure everything is oversaw. So can you talk a little bit more about how you actually collaborate with the staff, the teachers directly to help with the overall student success?
So one particular collaboration is really empowerment. Sometimes when teachers want to do those extra things for students, my job is to really be a springboard for those teachers, right? It is to
Mm-hmm.
guide them to the greater impact, not necessarily to tell them what to do or to dictate to them what to do, but really offer my service as that instructional leadership. How would it impact instruction? How does it impact our student culture? How does it impact the community? Right. So when we're collaborating, it's not just one idea being pushed, but we're all contributors to what we think will be the greatest impact here at the West Bloomfield Middle School.
And that's good. That's what it's all about. Like we said, it's about that team effort. Once again, communication and collaboration with with the teachers and instructors directly, who directly reach the students, going up all the way to management, principal, assistant principal, et cetera, et cetera. Join us right now, highlighting his role and responsibility. Assistant principal of West Bloomfield Middle School, Jermaine Evans, Mr. Evans, joining us, talking about his different roles, responsibilities. What would you say to date has been your most challenging situation as an assistant principal at the middle school?
Today, I'll start off by saying the assistant principal role is like a sweet spot where you have the relationship with the students, and you also have the
Mhm.
relationships with the staff and the community stakeholders. With that being
Right.
said, the biggest challenge is helping kids understand the use and the appropriateness and when to employ the use of these cell phones. And I could speak for many assistant principals
Mm.
when it comes to when kids are using these cell phones. Um, yes, sometimes we want to take them out of their hand, but we need to put something else back in their hand as well. So one of the challenges, and this is how we addressed it this year, we developed a photography club where kids can use their cell phones to take pictures,
Okay.
where they can
Okay.
use their cell phones after school to do certain things. So it's just really helping the students understand, hey, that cell phone is a double-edged sword. It could be positive and it can be negative. And how do we use it in a positive to really promote our positive narrative here at West Bloomfield Middle School? That to me is the ongoing challenge. Every day we're
Mm.
talking about put away your cell phones, or what are you using it for? Is it being used appropriate?
Right, right. Man, listen, I can only imagine that is a solid point. I'm I come from a day where cell phones were just starting to be a little bit more popular for like just the mass population. So they were having trouble with students having cell phones, but this was, we didn't have smartphones or anything like that. I can only imagine the scale it's at right now with smartphone, the technology, the smart watches, and I mean, just how you can have it in anything, tablets. Also, I can definitely understand that being a challenge right there. And it just means you have to continue to kind of strike a balance between, like you said, using your cell phone for the appropriate times. The photography I did, the photography class, I love that. Me being a photographer myself, and I use my phone for those type of things. So I love that. I want to get back to balance in that way. How do you personally balance, since you say you're perfect middle spot, right? How do you balance administrative tasks with promoting a positive school environment, making sure you're not seen as this, negative person coming through the hallway snatching phones and that type of thing?
I think being very intentional about the culture and climate that you want to set, right? um, I intentionally, going through the hallway. Sometimes the kids may see me get to class or hurry up and get into your rooms or let's move a little bit quicker. But I also balance it off by going through the hallways and indicating the positive or just striking up a conversation with the students. It's
Hmm.
very often kids may see, oh, Mr. Evans is a little bit excited, right? They need to see me in both balances, being that AP that's going to support the school culture and climate. But they also need to see the human side of Mr. Evans, the humanity side of Mr. Evans, right? So, and that comes with developing relationships and rapport with the students, where they see you in both lights, and that also includes the staff as well.
Completely understand that. Completely understand. Yeah, it's gonna take that back, especially with middle school students too. Like this is right before they get to high school, really start to feel like they like want to stand in their perspective. And I don't know. I feel like when it gets to high school, it gets weird. And I'm speaking from a perspective of somebody who kind of made that change in high school too. For you personally, what aspects of your work do you find to be the most impactful?
The most impactful for me, sometimes it may not come until years later, in all honesty, right? I've
Right.
been in middle school for all my life, 20, 24 years. And the greatest impact is when I see a student who had challenges in middle school. And years later,
Hmm.
they come around and
Hmm.
tell me, you know what, Mr. Evans, you were the most instrumental person in my life. And because of your standards and expectations, it caused me to do X, Y, and Z. I'm finishing my degree, or I'm in med school, or I am a lawyer. Um, just today, I have a former student of mine who is coming to visit the school because he is a mentor in the district. He has a
Yeah.
program where he is mentoring high school students at the high school in Roosevelt. And come to find out, he was a former student of mine. So to me, that is the greatest impact. And it's not an instant impact, but it's an impact that you will
Hmm.
realize that it requires time. It requires that seed to really germinate, right? So for me,
Oh
it
my
is just
goodness.
looking at where our kids are in that 10, that 15 year time frame.
Mr. Evans, let me tell you, man. As you were explaining, I started thinking back to some of the teachers and educators in my life that made that difference. That were probably hard on me at the time. I feel like we all can think back to, man, that teacher that man they changed the direction for me, man. So, man, I know that's a very warm and impactful situation to be in, man. And that motivates you too to keep going
Yeah.
too, man. I completely understand that, Mr. Evans. How do you see the role of assistant principals evolving in education in general, and just give any lasting words from your perspective, please?
You know, that role has evolved to a point where people are now realizing in order for a building to really function at its pinnacle, you must have a strong assistant principal. That assistant principal
Mm,
must know how to do every single thing from discipline to scheduling to instructional rounds. That assistant principal is the instructional coach of the building. And when you really think about who that assistant principal is, that assistant principal can really carry the culture of the building of any school.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your lasting words. Thank you for your time again. Mr. Jermaine Evans, Assistant Principal for West Bloomfield Middle School, highlighting his role and responsibilities as we talk about it for Assistant Principals Week. Thank you again for your time, sir.
Thank you for having me and enjoy the rest of your morning.